Hi everyone, and welcome to Pentech Solutions. Here I help small and medium-sized businesses by automating workflows and developing custom Python graphical user interface application. I would like to make a small disclaimer here with respect to an application I developed for a consultancy in London. So in this video that I'm presenting is with full authorization of KTG Consultancy Limited. The views expressed are based on information provided by the consultancy and are for general informational purpose only. For specific advice applicable to your situation, please consult directly with KTG Consultancy. You'll find the email address, you'll find the address of this consultancy at the bottom of this video. Data is everywhere, from small to larger organizations. But the missing piece is usually a simple, practical way to make sense of it or make sense of the data. In this channel, I use AI, SQL, Python, and Excel to build practical, innovative solutions for small and medium-sized businesses and organizations. I can automate your business workflows using practical AI-driven tools. These solutions are designed to save your team hundreds of hours by managing essential processes, including deadline tracking, cost management, email automation, real-time reporting, and intelligent document processing. For example, I just finished an assessment tracker for social work professionals. This tracker, which I'm going to present to you, it handles databases, email automation, user authentication, Excel exports, imports, real-time dashboards that you all see that I'll present to you when I'm making this presentation. All of this has been developed using Python, and it's a simple graphical user interface application that I developed for this organization. Whether your project involves a Python desktop application or an end-to-end automated business workflow, I'm equipped to deliver the solution. You can reach me directly through the email link in the description below. I welcome a conversation to explore your needs. If you're looking to reduce manual effort and adopt practical solutions, consider subscribing to this channel. So what I'm going to do right now is to present to you this application tool. I will say a tool or an application that I developed for this consultancy called KTG. So I'm just going to log in. So here is the application, or you can call it a tool or a project tracker. It actually tracks their projects. So whatever you see on this screen, this is just dummy data. Okay, but again, like I said earlier, it's been authorized by the consultancy that I can present this application for viewers in this channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through on the different tabs of the application and explain exactly what the application does. So you have an assessment, which is this table that you see. You have a visualization. You can see that it's already been populated with some data. You have a dashboard that keeps tracks of the different assessments and the different local authority, and you have an email management tab where you can send an email or you can send emails in bulk. And I also have a customized template that I've developed that you can edit if you want to send an email. And then there's also an attach button here where you can attach a document before you send. So let's dive back to the assessment. So you can see here there's a column for a unique ID. So when the job comes, actually they record the assessments using this application, and then a unique identification number is being assigned to each assessment. And then you have a local authority, the assessment type, the name of the applicant, relationship to the child, children, and then children date of birth, applicant address, up to assessment status. Again, what I'm going to say, I developed this application for this consultancy. I'm not going to tell you what they do. If you want to know whatever they do, you can contact them directly. I'm not going to say anything with respect to assessment or how assessments are being carried out or been managed. I'm just going to show you how my application, how it works, what it does, and what you can gain out of it. You also have an import tab here that you can import an Excel sheet. I also have an export tab where you can export the data that you have in some folder where you want to save it on your computer or wherever you want. If you want to save it in the cloud or in some Google Drive or OneDrive, is up. The choice is yours. Then you have a drop down which populates the different local authorities, and then you also have a drop down here that has the state that populates the statuses of assessments. Then you also have the assessment type. Then you can also search the assessment by child name or assessment ID. Then you also have one of the most important thing of this application or this tool is it has a show deleted checkbox, which works by if it happens that you delete an assessment by accident, you can always restore that assessment back into the application. So what I'm going to do is to show you how we can add an assessment. Here you have view users, view file logs, and logout, and there's a logout button here. This actually doesn't really matter. It's not very important for now, but let's see what the application does, right? And we can enter some data, we can edit the data, we can submit the data, we can export it, and then we'll also look at the visualizations and the dashboard tabs. Again, this is pre-data that I've entered already into the application, which I've just shown you how the dashboard actually looks like. So I'm going to add an assessment. Okay, so currently we have 3 assessments. So let's add an assessment. So I'm going to input some demo data. It doesn't really matter what you put. You can just put some letters and submit, and then you see how the data you can see how the data gets laid out in the tree view on the table that's been shown here in the tool itself. So let's put some dummy data. So I will say let's say assessment, let's say local authority, let's say LA4. Assessment type, let's say parents. Name of applicant, we can say applicant 4. Name, relationship to child, let's say auntie. Applicant address, we can put a default address there or any address. We could say address city, or let's say 223 city 4. Child address, let's say 221 city 6. Child name. So the application is built to take a maximum of 5 children, but it all depends if for your needs you need more than 5 children. That can be customized, that can be added, or that can be updated. So let's say child 4, child 5. Let's just add two children, right? So we have this one, and then the date of birth here, you can enter it manually or you can use this calendar here. So let's take some month in August and let's change the date to 2021. So you can choose 10th of August 2021, and let's take another date for the second child, for the date of birth of child 5. Let's choose January and let's take 2019. Let's say 11th of January 2019. Okay. Ethnicity, it doesn't really matter which ethnicity you enter, it all depends on your use case. So let's say Black, African. Social worker, let's say SW4. Team manager, TM4. legal representative LR4, ISW allocated, yes. Date allocated, we can put a default date there. We can, sorry, not a default date, we can put any date that we wish. Again, like I said, it doesn't really matter what you enter, you just need to follow the fields based on their descriptions. So where there's a date, you put a date. If it's a text, you put the text. So 5th of May 2026. Midway review, we can input 1st of June 2026. Filing date, we could say we'll file it, let's say May 12, 2026. Comments, not urgent. Date filed. Again, this is with respect to the consultancy. So we have filing date and they will have date filed. So with respect to they use the application and they know what that means with respect to their data. So date filed, I'm just going to put that same date, 12th of June, 12th of May rather. Raise invoice, ISW, yes. Date invoice sent to local authority. So let's say 15th of any date, 15th of May, or let's just say 20th of May, for example. ISW cost, we can put any default figure there. So let's say 6,000. Local authority cost, let's say 6,500. So have we filed? So there's a drop down here that says file, delayed, filed, delayed, allocated, cancelled, or allocated, delayed, filed, cancelled. Let's say filed, and let's submit. So we can see that if you scroll to the left, there's a unique ID that's been created. This is a local authority, so the data has been aligned based on the different columns that you can see. You can see child 4 and child 5. These are the respective date of birth, and these are the respective addresses. Ethnicity, which you can all see. Social worker, team manager, legal representative. Irrespective of these letters repeating itself, these are, like I said, these are just demo data. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so what I'm going to do to distinguish, I'm going to edit this data. Okay, so when I'll highlight and I click edit, and I will come here and change this SW, let's say SW23 TM23, just to distinguish it from the previous row. Let's say 23, and I'm going to hit update, which now it now says update. When we wanted to submit the data, it was submit that was here. Now we are updating. It defaults to update, and click update. So you can see that we've updated the data, and here you see the SW23 TM23 LR23, and then we can go here. We can see the comments, and then we can come here. We can see that it's been filed, and then you see a green icon that shows that it's been filed. Let's look at the visualization tab and see what it shows. So initially we had 3 assessments, so we've added one, which is where initially was parental. Yes, parent. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, it's just demo data that we're using to understand how the application actually works. Then if we go now to the dashboard, you can see that we've added LL for local authority. It's been added, and then we can see the total costs, ISW cost and local authority cost. And then again, this gives you the total assessments for overdue 2. Overdue, which means that the date that we expected the assessment to be completed is overdue, so by 2 days. And then we have children, number of children is 10, and then you have these figures here that you see that's already been reflected. So it gives you a real-time visualization of your projects, and then you can see the different assessment statuses. Here we have two assessments that have been filed, one is being delayed, one is being allocated, and then you also see the cost by local authority distinguished by different colors. So ISW cost and local authority cost. Again, like I said, I don't know anything about assessments, so with respect to your use case, or if you're interested, you contact the consultancy directly. With the email management tab, I'm not going to say much about the email management tab because it's going to be customized based on your organization. But you have the option of sending an email or send email in bulk. I have the option of also attaching a file and send from the application. This is like bringing everything in one place, consolidate everything in one user interface. Okay, so let's go back to the assessment. So what I'm going to do here is to delete this row LA4. Let's delete it. Okay, we highlight it and then we delete. So it's been deleted. So assessment AR that deleted sorry from KTG consultancy. Okay, so let's check the show deleted rows. If I click check, you see that assessment comes back, it gets reinstated back into the application. So this is very useful because if you're working with such an application and you happen to delete something accidentally, it is possible that you can restore it back or make any updates before you delete it, or make any changes. If you make any changes and save it before you delete it. Again, it's also possible to export all your data. If you delete something and you are afraid that you've lost data, it doesn't get deleted from the database. Okay, so you can export your data and save it on your desktop as a backup. So if I click export, no, before exporting the data, let's try to do some filtering. So if I filter by local authority, let's say LA3, you can apply filters. You have this has been filtered. If I clear my filters, it goes back to the original data that was there. If I filter by status, let's say allocated, apply filters, we have one assessment that has been allocated. Okay, if I clear my filters, and then if I go now and filter by assessment type, so let's say parent, and I hit this, we have one assessment that says parent. Of course, there are two parental assessments. It just depends on the data, the text that are used. So that was just to distinguish both of them. And then the next one, let's search by MSKE0L. Let's search by, I think it's good, by child name. Let's say child Aaron. So, and we apply the filters. Let's clear the filters again. Child name. So if we say name 1, apply filters. So we can see that it gets filtered straight away. So if I take off the show deleted, okay, so this shows the data that's not been deleted, and if I click the show deleted, this row gets reinstated back. So what I can do here, right? If I uncheck this, you will see that I have just three rows in the application. So if I uncheck this, just 3 rows are left, which shows I've deleted some data. If I check this, we have this row that's been reinstated, but it's been reinstated there. You need to restore it so that it stays there. Okay, so if I highlight it and I say restore, then it will say restore assessment to KTG system. This will make the assessment visible again in the main view. If you click yes, So assessment with this ID, restore successfully to K2G consultancy system. Okay, so what the last time I'm going to do here is to export the data. So if I export the data, let me just export it and put some name there like SGG. What's the date of today? It's 08/06/2026. And if we export it, it's going to export it as a CSV file. So it goes there as a CSV file. And let's look for that file. Let's check for that file. I have two screens. I'm going to drag it from the other screen, and then let's see what's going to show us if the data has been exported or not. So we can see that the data has been exported to a spreadsheet, which again you can save on your desktop as a backup. So you can see how the data is well structured in the spreadsheet. You can add filters. You can add filters here to filter data in the way that you wish. So you can add some filters here, data, and then you add some filters. You can filter by assessment type or by assessment status. So this is what this application does. I'm going to close this and I go back to the application. Don't save. If we go back to the application, and we go to email management, like I explained earlier, we have I have a send email option and a send bulk email option, and then there's an option of attaching a file. So this is going to be customized based on your organizational needs. Okay, if you still wish to send your email externally without using the application, it's still fine. But the interest here was to bring everything in one consolidated interface. So this is the end of my presentation. If you want to have more information with respect to this application, you can just send me an email on pentech26@gmail.com. Okay? Drop me a message if you are interested in the code and you want to take it further. Please just send me a message and I'll send it to you. Thank you very much for listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these videos in the future.